The stars shone quietly over the small human settlement on the edge of the Vega system. Children played in the dusty streets, and traders shouted their goods at the market stalls. For the people here, life was simple, even ordinary. No one imagined that today would change everything. A loud, metallic roar suddenly broke the calm. A shadow passed over the town, blotting out the sun for a moment. People froze. Animals ran in panic. From the sky, a strange craft descended, moving faster than anything humans had ever built. It was dark, angular, with lights that flickered like fire. The humans had never seen technology like this. On the ground, a small boy named Liam ran after his dog, completely unaware of the approaching danger. He laughed, his little hands gripping the leash, when suddenly, the alien craft fired a beam of light. The energy sliced through the air with a hiss, and everything near it burned. Liam screamed as the blast hit the ground close to him. He fell, his small body hitting the dirt hard. The dog yelped and ran, dragging the leash with it. People shouted and ran. Merchants grabbed whatever they could, while families scrambled to find their children. The alien ship hovered for a moment, scanning the settlement. Then, without warning, it shot again. Buildings crumbled, fires broke out, and the market turned into chaos. The sky was full of smoke, and the screams of humans filled the air. Some of the villagers tried to fight back. They fired weapons, but their bullets bounced off the alien craft as if it were made of solid light. Panic turned to despair quickly. No one had a chance. Liam lay on the ground, blood staining his shirt. His small hand reached for his mother, who was shouting his name from behind a fallen wall. Her heart pounded in terror as she ran to him. Suddenly, a strange signal appeared on human military satellites orbiting Earth. The sensors picked up the alien craft instantly. For decades, humanity had prepared quietly, knowing the galaxy was not as safe as they pretended. But no one expected an attack so close to a civilian settlement. The news of a wounded child spread like wildfire through the command centers. His name, his face, the terror in his eyes, it was enough to ignite fury across Earth. Admiral Hayes, seated in the command room of Earth's flagship, clenched his fists. His jaw tightened, and his eyes burned with rage. "They dared to attack a child," he whispered. Then louder, he shouted, "Prepare the fleet. Humanity will answer. They will regret ever touching our children." Back on Vega, the aliens seemed puzzled. They had expected fear, but they did not understand the depth of human emotion. They had attacked settlements before, thinking humans were weak. But this attack on a child, was a different story. Meanwhile, Liam's mother held him tightly, tears mixing with the dust on her face. Around them, the settlement was burning, but something had changed. The humans who survived were no longer afraid. Anger replaced fear. They were ready to fight back, even with nothing but their hands and whatever tools they could find. Far away, on Earth, scientists worked tirelessly. They activated old warships hidden in remote sectors, ships built during long-forgotten conflicts. Engineers pushed new weapons to the limits, preparing for a response that the galaxy would never forget. Humanity had long watched the stars, waiting for a day like this. That day had come. The alien craft hovered over Vega for a moment longer, scanning the devastation. Its sensors caught the flicker of human weapons, the determination in their eyes. It seemed like a small, insignificant planet. But Earth would send a message that would shake the galaxy. As Liam closed his eyes, hurt and scared, he did not know the role he had just played. One small child, lying on the ground, had triggered a chain of events that would change the galaxy forever. From the ashes of the settlement, humanity's wrath would rise, stronger than any force the stars had ever seen. The alien ship finally retreated into the darkness of space, unaware of the storm it had unleashed. On Earth, the fleet prepared silently, engines humming with deadly precision. The humans would not wait. They would not negotiate. One wounded child was all it took to make Earth declare war on the stars. And this was only the beginning. Earth was quiet. Too quiet, some would say. But behind the walls of the command centers, The planet was alive with activity. Ships moved in orbit like predators circling prey, and weapon systems hummed with power. For decades, humanity had prepared for a moment like this, and now it had arrived. Admiral Hayes walked along the bridge of the flagship Valor, his boots echoing against the metal floor. Around him, officers worked in silence, their eyes glued to screens filled with blinking signals and incoming data. Every sensor picked up fragments of alien activity near Vega. The attack on the child had been enough. Fury had replaced caution. Humanity would not wait for negotiations or warnings. They would act. In a small briefing room, scientists and strategists gathered. Holograms of star systems rotated in the air, showing alien positions, fleets, and planets under threat. They think they can intimidate us, one analyst said, pointing at a cluster of alien ships near Vega. They don't understand what they are facing. A young engineer named Kara adjusted her glasses nervously. She had designed the new pulse cannons installed on the fleet's frontline vessels. "Sir," she said, "these weapons are ready. The aliens won't know what hit them. But, are we sure we want to strike first?" Hayes's eyes burned with resolve. "We don't strike for revenge. We strike to protect our children. That boy is one of millions. And if they dare come again, humanity will not forgive. Humanity will not forget." Far from Earth, the aliens monitored the planet. Their leaders debated the meaning of human retaliation. "It was only one child," one said, voice calm but uncertain. "Why would they risk their fleets over a single casualty?" The answer was simple. Humans were different. They valued life, especially their own. And when threatened, they became more dangerous than any predator in the galaxy. Back on Vega, survivors tried to regroup. Fires still burned, and the smell of smoke mixed with dust and blood. But the people who lived remembered the attack. Anger replaced fear. They whispered stories about the humans who would come, the ones who lived on a distant planet. Stories that sounded like legends, but soon would be reality. On Earth, fleets launched silently from hidden bases. Ships glowed under the sun as they rose into the atmosphere, engines leaving streaks of light across the sky. Pilots strapped themselves into cockpits, hearts pounding with the thrill of the coming battle. For some, it was duty. For others, it was personal. Every one of them thought of the child who had started it all. Meanwhile, Liam's mother watched the news feed on a small communicator. The boy was still weak, his arm bandaged, but his eyes held a spark. The spark of hope. "They are coming," she whispered, gripping his hand. "They will protect you." In the cold emptiness of space, alien scouts detected the approaching fleet. Confusion rippled through their ranks. No one had ever dared to respond so quickly, so decisively. The humans were nothing like the other species in the galaxy. They struck with precision, with intelligence, and with anger that burned like fire. The first shots were still hours away, but tension built in the void. Every alien ship on patrol increased speed. Every human ship followed orders without hesitation. Both sides knew the coming moments would change the galaxy forever. On Vega, Liam looked up at the sky. His small voice barely a whisper, he asked, "Will they come?" His mother hugged him tighter. "Yes, they will," she said. "And they will make sure this never happens again." Somewhere between Vega and Earth, humanity's fleet formed a line, ships shining like stars themselves. They moved silently, but their purpose was loud. They were the protectors, the hunters, the force that would make the galaxy remember one simple truth. Humans do not let harm come to their own. And as the distance closed, the stars seemed to tremble. One wounded child had begun a war that would echo across the galaxy. This time, humanity would not wait. The black void of space stretched endlessly, but it was alive with movement. Hundreds of human ships glimmered like fireflies, each one bristling with weapons. The fleet moved silently, but the tension aboard every vessel was electric. Every crew member knew they were carrying the weight of the entire planet. Every decision could mean victory, or total destruction. Admiral Hayes stood on the bridge of the Valor, staring at the alien fleet displayed on the holomap. The enemy ships were larger, stranger, unlike anything humans had catalogued. They moved in formations that seemed chaotic, yet somehow efficient. Hayes clenched his fists. "They think numbers will save them," he muttered. "They don't know what humanity is capable of." Inside one of the fighter cockpits, pilot Jace tightened his harness. His voice came over the comms, steady but with a spark of excitement. "I've trained for this moment my entire life. Let's show them what humans can do." Behind him, the engines roared, ready to surge forward at full speed. Suddenly, sensors aboard the Valor picked up a rapid movement. Alien interceptors were approaching at impossible speeds, trying to flank the human formation. "All fighters, engage interceptors," Hayes commanded. Within seconds, squadrons of sleek human fighters zoomed toward the alien scouts, weaving between laser beams that sliced through the dark. Explosions bloomed like fireworks, but human pilots maneuvered with precision and skill, taking down more ships than the aliens expected. From orbit, scientists watched in awe. "Their reflexes, their tactics, it's more than training," one said. "They fight like they have fire in their blood." Kara, the young engineer from Earth, adjusted the targeting systems. "It's not just fire," she said. "It's purpose. They are fighting for something, for someone. That child on Vega, it gave them focus." Meanwhile, the alien commanders were growing uneasy. They had never faced an enemy that reacted so quickly, so decisively. "They are not afraid," one growled. "They strike with the fury of storms. How can they be so strong?" On Vega, survivors watched the sky. Through smoke and ruins, they could see the flashes of distant battles. It was terrifying, but also hopeful. Humans were coming for them, and their protectors would not fail. Back in the thick of the fight, Jace's squadron targeted a group of alien cruisers. Their pulse cannons fired in perfect synchronization, beams cutting through shields that had seemed impenetrable. One cruiser exploded, sending fragments of metal spinning into space. A cheer went up in the comms channels, even amidst the chaos. Admiral Hayes did not celebrate. He knew this was only the beginning. The alien fleet was vast, and one victory meant little. But for the first time, humanity had shown its strength. And the galaxy would start to notice. The alien ships began to regroup, attempting to retreat and strike back with more disciplined formations. But humans were relentless. They pursued, coordinating attacks from multiple angles, their strategy flawless. Every ship in the fleet acted like a single organism, united by purpose, by rage, by determination. On Vega, Liam's mother held him close, shielding him from falling debris. He looked up at the sky, eyes wide, as the battle raged in the distance. "Are they winning?" he asked. She nodded, tears in her eyes. "Yes, they are protecting us. They will not let them hurt anyone else." In the midst of the fight, a small human dreadnought, bristling with weapons, broke through the alien lines. It unleashed a volley of energy so powerful that it shook the enemy formation. Alien ships collided, shields failed, and chaos spread through their ranks. Humans had only begun, but already they had sent a clear message: attacking humanity's children would not be tolerated. Far away, the alien commanders sent messages back to their leaders. Panic was spreading. No one had expected this ferocity, this intelligence. And in that moment, the galaxy began to understand a truth it had ignored for too long. Humans were not a species to be underestimated. The first battle was not yet over, but humanity had made its mark. One wounded child on a distant planet had sparked a war, and the first blow had been struck. The stars themselves seemed to hum with anticipation, as if waiting to see what humans would do next. And somewhere, in the heart of the fleet, Admiral Hayes whispered, almost to himself, "This is only the beginning. Humanity will not stop until they learn. You never harm a child of Earth." The void of space burned with light. Alien ships were exploding in streaks of fire, but the battle was far from over. The human fleet moved like a single living force, every ship anticipating the other, every cannon firing in perfect rhythm. Their tactics were unlike anything the aliens had seen. Admiral Hayes stood on the bridge of the Valor, eyes scanning the holomap. "Flank their left wing," he ordered. "Do not give them a chance to regroup." His voice carried authority, calm but filled with a quiet rage. Every officer on the bridge moved like clockwork, following orders without hesitation. On the front lines, fighter pilot Jace weaved through laser fire, dodging explosions that could have torn his ship apart. He fired pulse cannons, hitting alien cruisers with pinpoint accuracy. Around him, human fighters coordinated with each other silently, as if reading each other's minds. Every alien hit was met with swift retaliation. The aliens were confused. "How can one species fight like this?" one commander demanded. "They are organized, precise, angry. Their attacks are intelligent." The words trailed off in frustration. They had faced countless species, conquered dozens of worlds. But humans were different. Meanwhile, far above Vega, Liam lay on a small platform built from the ruins of his town. His mother watched him carefully, keeping him safe from falling debris. The boy had begun to recover from his injuries, but his eyes were wide, reflecting the distant explosions in space. "They are here," he whispered. "They're really here." Back in the battle, human dreadnoughts unleashed volleys of concentrated energy that tore through alien shields. Small, agile fighters darted around larger enemy ships, striking weak points and then disappearing into the shadows. The aliens tried to regroup, but every move was anticipated. Humanity had studied their tactics for years, preparing for this moment. Kara, the young engineer on Earth, monitored the fleet's weapons systems. "Targeting complete. All ships synchronized," she said. Her hands flew over controls, adjusting energy flows to maximize damage. "We are ready to break their formation." The alien commanders realized too late what was happening. Their ships collided in panic as humans pressed forward relentlessly. In a final desperate attempt, they fired a massive energy wave, hoping to scatter the human fleet. But the humans had expected it. Shields absorbed the blast, and the human ships retaliated with a devastating counterstrike. The aliens were thrown into chaos. On Vega, Liam's mother hugged him tighter as debris rained down. Fires still burned, but a sense of hope filled the air. The humans had come for them, and the alien fleet was faltering. Admiral Hayes watched from the bridge, calm but determined. "Press the attack. No mercy. Let them see the cost of hurting our children." His words were not threats, they were a promise. Every human ship in the fleet followed that promise without question. The battle continued for hours, but slowly, the tide turned. Alien ships exploded, their formations broken, their strategies failing. The human fleet advanced steadily, pushing them back across the void. The aliens began retreating, but Earth would not let them escape easily. Human ships pursued with precision, ensuring no enemy vessel could flee. Somewhere deep in space, the alien commanders sent urgent messages to their leaders. Panic was spreading. They had underestimated humanity, assumed weakness where there was strength. But strength alone did not describe it. Humans were relentless, intelligent, and fueled by something no weapon could destroy: anger for their children and the will to protect what they loved. Back on Vega, Liam looked up at the sky. His small voice barely carried above the wind. "Will they be safe now?" His mother kissed his forehead. "Yes, for now. But the humans will make sure no one dares attack again." Far across the galaxy, sensors picked up the shockwaves of the battle. Other alien empires noticed, whispering rumors about the humans who had struck down an entire fleet over one child. The legend of Earth's wrath was beginning to spread. The stars themselves seemed to watch silently, waiting. Humanity had taken its first decisive step, but the war had only just begun. One child's pain had unleashed a fury that the galaxy would never forget. And in the heart of the fleet, Admiral Hayes stood tall. "We fight for our children, for our people, for our future. Let them remember this day." The stars were quiet again, but the silence was uneasy. The alien fleet had been pushed back, but not destroyed. Across distant command centers, their leaders struggled to understand what had just happened. Ships that had once seemed unstoppable were now broken and scattered. Their soldiers whispered in fear about a species that struck with precision, intelligence, and an anger they had never seen. On Earth, the fleet returned to orbit around human colonies for repairs and resupply. Smoke from weapons tests still lingered in the engines, but no human celebrated yet. Victory was temporary. Admiral Hayes walked along the Bridge of the Valor, his gaze fixed on the distant Vega system. "They will return," he said quietly. "And when they do, we must be ready. Humanity does not make the same mistake twice." Meanwhile, Vega was in chaos. The settlement lay in ruins, buildings smoldering, streets cracked and filled with debris. Survivors dug through rubble, searching for the injured and salvaging whatever supplies they could find. Liam's mother moved among them, carrying him carefully. His small body had healed enough to walk, but his eyes were still wide, haunted by the attack. "They're coming back, aren't they?" he asked quietly, holding his mother's hand. She nodded, her voice steady, but trembling. "Yes, but we're not alone anymore. They will protect us." Back in orbit, engineers worked tirelessly. Kara monitored energy flows, checking weapon systems that had fired almost non-stop during the battle. "We need more power for the pulse cannons," she said. "The next fight will be worse. They'll adapt, and we must be ready." Hayes nodded. "Prepare every ship, every crew. Humanity fights not just for survival, but for justice. One child was hurt, and the galaxy will pay attention now." Alien scouts returned to their home systems, carrying reports of human efficiency and ferocity. Their leaders debated. "These humans, they are unpredictable," one said. "They strike with precision, but also with emotion. It is frightening." Meanwhile, the survivors on Vega found a strange sense of hope. Humans had come for them. They had seen firsthand what Earth could do. And yet, the fear lingered. Another attack could happen at any moment. Small communities began to organize, preparing defenses, learning from the humans who had fought for them. On Earth, news of the battle spread quickly. Citizens watched broadcasts of the fleet in action, the bravery of pilots, and the destruction of alien ships. Fury burned in the hearts of every human. One wounded child on a distant planet had reminded them of their responsibility, of their strength, and of the price of inaction. In the skies above Vega, alien ships began to form again, smaller and faster this time. They would not repeat the same mistakes. But humans were ready. Ships rose from hidden sectors across the solar system, joining the fleet already in orbit. Humanity was learning, adapting, and preparing to strike harder than before. Liam, still weak but determined, watched from the ruins. "Will they win?" he asked. His mother smiled, brushing dirt from his hair. "Yes. They always protect those who cannot protect themselves. Humans never give up." Far beyond Vega, across the stars, alien empires whispered warnings. Earth was not just a planet. It was a force, one that struck when its own were harmed. One child's pain had awakened a power no one had anticipated. The galaxy would have to remember, humanity does not forgive easily, and it never forgets. Admiral Hayes watched the stars from the Bridge of the Valor, his mind focused on the future. "This is only the beginning," he said. "They will come again, and we will be ready. Humanity will not bow. Humanity will not hide. Humanity will fight until the stars themselves know our name." The war had begun in earnest. One wounded child had changed everything. And now, every human across every colony, every ship in every fleet, and every mind on Earth was united by a single purpose: to protect their own, no matter the cost. The stars blinked cold and distant as alien fleets moved silently toward Vega. Smaller ships darted through space like shadows, carrying weapons that glowed with deadly intent. They had learned from their previous defeat and adapted their tactics. This time, they would not underestimate humanity. On Earth, Admiral Hayes received the reports with a calm fury. "They are coming back," he said, voice low but firm. and they think they can catch us off guard. Prepare every ship, every weapon, every pilot. Humanity will not be surprised again. Across the fleet, human crews worked tirelessly. Fighters were refueled, weapons recalibrated, and shields strengthened. Engineers like Kara adjusted energy matrices to allow maximum output without overloading the systems. They won't know what hit them, she said, a small smile on her face. This time, we strike first. In orbit above Vega, Liam and his mother watched the distant stars. Fires had been extinguished in the settlement, but fear still lingered. The boy clutched a small toy in his hand, a reminder of normal life. Will they protect us again? He asked softly. She held him close. Yes, she said. They are coming. Humanity will not let them hurt us again. The alien fleet approached cautiously, scanning for ambushes. They expected humans to act predictably, but humans were not predictable. Human dreadnoughts had positioned themselves strategically, hiding in the shadow of asteroids, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Smaller fighters zipped through gaps in the alien formation, invisible until it was too late. Then, without warning, the humans launched. Pulse cannons tore through alien shields, and coordinated fighter attacks struck from multiple directions. Alien ships exploded in brilliant bursts of light. The counterattack was precise, fast, and deadly. The aliens realized too late that humans had learned from their first encounter. On the bridge of the Valor, Admiral Hayes watched with satisfaction. Focus on the command ships, he ordered. Break their leadership, and the rest will scatter. Every order was executed flawlessly. Every human ship acted as one, connected by a will stronger than any weapon. Alien commanders panicked. They adapt too quickly, one shouted. Every strategy we planned fails. Their formations crumbled, ships colliding as humans pressed the attack. They had never faced an enemy that learned so fast, that anticipated moves before they were made. Back on Vega, survivors could see the distant flashes of the battle, lighting up the night sky. Liam's eyes widened as he saw ships move like glowing meteors, tearing through alien vessels. They are winning, he whispered. His mother nodded. Yes, humanity always fights for what is right. The alien fleet tried to regroup for a coordinated strike, but humans anticipated every move. Smaller fighter squadrons struck their vulnerable points while dreadnoughts unleashed volleys that shattered their command ships. The aliens had planned for battle, but humans had turned war into something they could not predict, a hunt guided by fury, precision, and a promise. As the alien fleet scattered, Earth's fleet pursued them, not allowing escape. They left destruction in their wake but spared civilians on planets the aliens had captured. Humanity's message was clear: those who harm the innocent will face consequences, but the innocent themselves would always be protected. In the command room of the Valor, Hayes spoke quietly, almost to himself. One wounded child, one small life, and now the galaxy will remember humanity. Around him, officers nodded silently, knowing this was only the beginning. And somewhere, deep in the void, alien empires whispered in fear of humans who struck with such speed, intelligence, and fury. They had underestimated Earth once. They would not survive a second underestimation. On Vega, Liam hugged his mother tightly, a faint smile on his small face. He did not know the full scale of the battle, but he understood this. Humans had come, humans had fought, and humans would protect him. The stars themselves seemed to watch silently. One child's suffering had sparked a war, and humanity was proving that it would fight, adapt, and win, no matter the cost. The galaxy was changing. Word of humanity's victories spread quickly across distant stars. Alien empires whispered warnings to each other, but fear had already taken root. Humans were no longer just defenders, they were hunters, relentless and precise. Admiral Hayes stood on the bridge of the Valor, looking out into the endless darkness. Prepare to enter their territory, he said. We strike at the heart of their operations. We show them that Earth does not tolerate attacks on its children. His voice was calm, but filled with steel. Every officer understood, this mission was dangerous, but necessary. Across the fleet, pilots tightened harnesses, engineers checked weapons, and crews focused on every detail. The humans were united by purpose. One wounded child on Vega had reminded them all of why they fought. That memory fueled every decision, every action, every strike. Alien scouts were already picking up the approaching human fleet. Panic spread like wildfire. "They are coming again," one commander said. "But this time, they are not defensive. They are hunting us." The humans moved in formations never seen before. Dreadnoughts led the charge, breaking through enemy patrols, while agile fighters darted between larger ships, striking weak points with deadly accuracy. Pulse cannons unleashed concentrated energy blasts that tore through shields as if they were paper. Every attack was coordinated, every strike deliberate. Deep in alien space, command centers erupted in chaos. Communications broke down as humans infiltrated every sector. Ships that were thought to be impenetrable fell one by one. Alien soldiers could not comprehend the strategy, the speed, or the fury of the humans. They had underestimated a species that fought not just for survival, but for justice, for honor, for their own. Meanwhile, back on Vega, survivors prepared for any potential new attack. Liam, now recovering fully, watched the distant stars with wide eyes. "They are fighting for me?" he asked softly. His mother smiled, brushing his hair from his forehead. "Yes, for you and for every child in the galaxy. Humanity never leaves the innocent unprotected." In the void, human ships pressed forward relentlessly. Each victory shattered alien morale. Entire sectors fell under the control of Earth's fleet without even a fight. It was not just strength, it was strategy, intelligence, and unyielding resolve. Humans moved like shadows, precise and unstoppable. Admiral Hayes watched as the alien fleet tried to rally in desperation. "Target their command centers," he ordered. "End their coordination. Make them remember Earth's power." Human ships split into multiple vectors, striking simultaneously. The explosions lit the void, alien vessels shattered, and command signals went dark. On Vega, the survivors cheered quietly, seeing flashes of victory in the sky. Liam hugged his mother tightly. For the first time, he felt safe. But he knew the war was not over. The humans had made a promise, and they would keep it. Across the galaxy, whispers of Earth's fleet spread faster than light. Alien empires began to rethink their strategy, realizing they had awakened a force unlike any other. A single planet had produced warriors who would protect their own at any cost. The story of one wounded child had become the spark for a legend that would shake stars and empires alike. And in the heart of the fleet, Admiral Hayes stood tall. "The galaxy will learn one lesson today," he said quietly. "Never harm a child of Earth." His words were carried silently through the fleet, understood by every human aboard every ship. Their fight was righteous, and their victory inevitable. The stars themselves seemed to watch, waiting to see how far humanity would go. One child had started it all. Humanity was finishing it, relentless, unstoppable, and determined to protect what was theirs.